You may have heard the saying, go big or go home. Well, in today's Sharp Saturday video, we ain't going home. Today we're going to take a look at the Condor K-Knight Panabras. Big old honking, choppity, cutty blade thingy. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where it's Saturday. We take a look at something sharp. And as I said, today that something sharp is big and sharp. And the sharp remains to be verified, but the big is without question. This is the Condor Tools, Knife and Tools Panabras. And I would call this a machete, but we'll just call it a brush tool. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest with you, what the official designation is. It's just a big old honking blade, which I thought was cool. So we're going to take a closer look at it, get to doing some of that science. But first, today's words of wisdom from the Bible. And today's wisdom is from Proverbs chapter 29, verse 23 in the NLT version. Pride ends in humiliation, while humility brings honor. So, words to live by. And again, thanks to today's video sponsor, my friends at Hog Holsters. Hog Holsters make the most comfortable, most concealable holster I've ever used. I've said it before, I tried a lot of different holsters for concealed carry. Once I found Hog, I stopped looking. They absolutely fit the bill. They are the best holsters I've ever used. They're the holsters that I'm wearing right now and constantly. And Hog Holsters are 100% made in the USA, handcrafted specifically for your pistol model. No one size fits all at Hog Holsters. Hog Holsters takes fit very, very seriously with their custom built-in perfect retention. I've carried my Hog Holsters in the waistband, just like the one I'm wearing now. I don't want YouTube to freak out, but through multiple, like, very dynamic training classes, rolling around the ground, crawling around, all kinds of things, no issues whatsoever. They're just great. So Hog Holsters helping Americans wear guns. And if you use coupon code Survival on Purpose, all one word, save 10% on any order over $30. So check them out and tell John I said hello. Now, Lordy mercy. Yeah, that's a big one right there. So what I thought we would do, let me bring you down here to the old tabletop if my camera will get it all in. I might have to go wide angle on this one. And take a look at this thing, give you some close-ups of this pretty blade, and tell you the specs real quick. And then we'll take her outside to the old world-renowned testing facility here at Survival on Purpose and get to doing some of that knife stuff. You want to? Okay, so hopefully I can keep this in frame. I don't have a lot of room to move it around, so I'll try to not move it a bunch, but let's talk about this thing here. So it has an overall length of 25.35 inches. Over 2 feet. For those of you still stuck in that old metric system, that is 621 millimeters. It has a blade length of 14.29 inches or 350 millimeters, with a blade thickness of 0.18 inches at the spine or 4.5 millimeters, and it weighs a honking 32.98 ounces. That's about 2 pounds or 935 grams. The handle is micarta. It is a full tang, as you can see. The finish is blasted satin, has a convex grind, and this one was designed by Jason Breeden, and it's got this really cool Kydex sheath with a belt loop that goes in like this. See if I can keep it in camera, you can see it, and then snaps in place and has a snap here, a leather belt loop, and all sorts of lanyard holes and stuff on it. So it has a big enough grip for 2 hands, however you want to hold it. I would probably say it's like this. And then the MSRP on this one is $175 with a street price of about $150. So having said all that, let's get to doing some of that knife stuff. You want to? Actually, first, before we do that, let's check the old redneck sharpness. This is a convex grind. It's pretty thick, so we'll see. Again, it's not designed to be shaving sharp knife, but let's just see how well it does. We'll get some testing medium out here. I've got to kind of renew this thing soon. Let's see how well it does. Okay, we got some horror there. It's surprising for this convex head. So it's not like maybe I'll give it a B plus for redneck sharpness. Now let's get to the old testing facility. Okay, so got you backed up. Hopefully far enough you can see the whole thing, and I'm going to do some standard testing. And before I get started, I know at least 1 or 12 people are going to tell me in the comment section below that that's not what this is designed for. It's an X tool. Okay, I get that. Pick whatever task. And we're going to try to do some other tasks with it, but I also like to try to maintain a consistent standard in testing. So this is a big old honking knife, blade, whatever you want to call it, thick enough to what I would consider it to be a chopper. So I think first we're going to try to chop through this very hard piece of dry cedar. This thing's been dried in my shed for like probably a couple of 3 years. So we're going to just see how well it chops on this thing, how well it bites in. So I'm trying to get back where you can actually see it. So by golly, she bit. Okay, so we're going to try to do this without cutting my hand. So pretty heavy, 2 pounds. My hand's still sore from shooting a J-frame the other day, and I'm trying to be careful to not, have an accident here on camera and lose a limb. So it's taking a little longer than I hoped, but we're going to endeavor to persevere. I am close. Give a little more beaver to it. I ought to be able to get through it this time. Let's see if I can hit it right. Okay, well, it took a minute, but part of that was because I was really trying to not hurt myself and do it one-handed. So I would think chopping on a standing tree or a limb or something that wasn't small, had to roll around, this thing would be a lot more effective. We're going to check that out in just a minute. But next, we're going to just kind of try to do a little fire prep. So we're good there. Let's do it again. For safety's sake, to baton as opposed to swinging, because I saw his first season alone. I think it was the first season, might have been the second. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, there was a woman contestant on there who was using her hatchet to do like they teach in the Boy Scouts, sort of, and to do this, right? And slipped, sliced her hand open, and she was medically removed from the show. So now let's see how well this thing carves. So there's not a lot of room to choke up here because there's an edge like right here at the end of the handle. So I'm gonna hold it right here at the handle. Still a little heavy on this end, so we'll see how that impacts the carvability, but I'll go ahead and get to it. See if we can get some good curls, enough to make some decent tinder that'll strike a spark. Hopefully, man, like it was 20-something degrees here in Georgia yesterday morning, and now it's probably about 60, 65, close to 70. The mosquitoes are still around. I was hoping it might have, a little cold snap might have killed them off, but it didn't. They're still here. I will say that the sheer weight of this thing is sort of a little fatiguing on the hands. I have to really grip it pretty tight, a lot tighter than I would normally like to do so, just to keep it steady. If it was a smaller knife, I wouldn't have to hold it nearly as tightly. But smaller knife wouldn't have the capabilities as far as chopping and that this thing does. So life is full of trade-offs. Alrighty, let's have a look at that. Let me give you a little close-up. Not too shabby. Okay, so I zoomed you in here just so you get a little better look at what's going on. You wouldn't have to look at my mug. So if you've been around for a while, you know what's coming next, don't you? Oh yeah, we got the fat wood, and because I love me some fat wood. So I'm just going to carve a little bit of this stuff off, make some little light curls with it, and again, partly to remove the oxidation, and partly so I can get a whiff. You want to smell that? Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, so a little bit more here. And got some nice little curls. I don't know if you can even see them, but nice little fat wood curls there for sure. But what's really great about it is when you can scrape it and get some really fuzzy fat wood. So we're going to try that with this spine. It kind of feels like almost 90 degrees, but we'll see how it goes. Pretty dadgum good, actually. So, oh yeah, that should be enough for now. I've said this on other videos. If I was actually in a situation where I had to have a fire, like it was really important, like life-changing maybe, then this pile here would be about this big. I would spend as much time as necessary to get a lot of tinder to make sure that when it did light, I had plenty of fire and heat going to keep it burning. And then also going to carve off some little bit bigger chunks of this on purpose to put in there, so once it does get going, it's got a little extra oomph to it. So we just put those in here like so. There's one there, a couple here. Now for today's demonstration, I have selected the Fatwood Fire Steel from my friend at Fatwood Fire Steels, and it comes with a nice, really cool Fatwood handle and a little piece of Fatwood that you can use to start fires. You don't have to destroy your handle, and a nice little scraper. But we're just going to use the ferro rod itself right now and see if we can get this thing going. And the way this thing is shaped and curved, it's really, we'll see. It might be a little difficult to get a good strike on it because it's so, we're going to try it like this. And looky there. Looky there. Okay, so I've got I'm going to try the back brush part of this first and see how well it cuts on this little small stuff. We'll use the blade instead. Not so much. To be honest with you, maybe it's just too small. Let's try this tree here. Start with the little small part on the back and see what I can do with it. So, try the big part. Okay, so a glancing blow seemed to do the trick. Okay. So, okay, on half to 3/4 inch little saplings or whatever. Not so, that's good on this small brush. Not so good as on small brush. So, what else should we do this thing? Okay, so that was about the most practical testing I could do here in this current environment at our worldwide headquarters. But as you know, here at Survival on Purpose, we are all about the science. And to that end, we maintain such a state-of-the-art cutting-edge testing facility. And you know that one of the tests I like to do on all big fixed blade knives is to test the aerodynamic balance using the balance orientation and rotation device. You probably knew as soon as you saw this that I wanted to test this. And as always, proper scientific methodology is critical. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, she got away from me. I was kind of more concerned about the methodology than the actual testing. Because one more time. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's give it one more. We'll just forego the methodology this time. Man, that's 3 out of 3.
When Chuck Norris plays dodgeball, the balls dodge him.
Alrighty, well, now that the scientific testing process is complete, I can kind of give you my final evaluation. And if I didn't say it before, by the way, thanks again to the folks at Condor Tool and Knife for sending me this so I could test it and show it to you. And that's what we did. So let's just start at the beginning. As far as fit and finish goes, this thing is absolutely wonderful. There's no gap, I can't catch my fingernails anywhere between the micarta and the full tang there. It's finished very well, very well. The the grind is extremely even all the way down. It's a smooth grind. It looks sharpened all the way down. This back reverse sharpening on the tip is not as sharp. It's got a little bit of flat on the edge, so you can sharpen it more, but it's more, I think, for just rougher stuff. The spine is a good 90-degree spine on it, even though it might have a not quite 90, but the corners are sharp enough. And big two-handed grip, feels good. It's solid. No issues there. Nice lanyard hole. One thing I do have, I guess one kind of ding I'll give it. This sheath, when you put it in like so, and it just snaps in. Once it's snapped, okay, that's it. But it's pretty easy for it to get knocked out of here. It doesn't take much to pull it out. Even just gravity. And then what happens is you got an edge here and you have an edge here, which is not as sharp, but still you wouldn't want to get poked with it. Now let's, so I kind of would like to see the sheath have a little bit more retention here, but I get it, it's got to snap in. But anyway, that's probably the biggest ding I have on this thing. Now, as far as the testing goes, it did shave a little hair, but not a lot. But it's a convex edge. It's not designed for shaving, but it did okay. As far as chopping, as you saw, it did okay chopping. I was using one hand. It's pretty heavy. I was trying to hold the thing with the other and keep not bounce around. So not the optimal chopping setup, but it did okay through a pretty solid piece of bone dry cedar, about 3 inches. I think on a green sapling or whatever, especially if you use two hands, a tree 3 to 4 inches tall or what, you would be able to chop it a lot faster with two hands. And I think you could probably do it as fast with this as you could with a small axe or hatchet. As far as splitting, yeah, it splits fine. You could bang it, you can baton with it, you can split with it, whatever. And then as far as as far as the blade goes, it's not an axe. It's not going to have that wedge, but it's okay for a blade. As far as carving, it really did surprisingly well. I was, choke up on as far as I could and try to keep it balanced. Sure, it's kind of unwieldy because all the weight out here, but you got the job done. The spine was able to scrape both the ferro rod and some fat wood. So if this was the only tool you had and you were in a bad situation, you needed a fire, this potentially could get you one if you had a ferro rod. Could help you get one anyway. It's going to be up to you. Anyway, so that's the kind of the practical, chopping, slashing, striking, all that stuff. When it comes to machete work, I wasn't able to accomplish very much with this false edge, kind of almost false edge on the back. On loose branches, loose whippy things, it just knocked them down, it scraped them, it didn't really slice through. But on a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, green sapling, at an angle going down, on an angle, it sliced right through them. So no problem there. I think maybe if you were in a jungle with a bunch of vines and stuff in your way, or bamboo or stuff, this might help you get it out of the way. And then if you had to defend yourself against a jaguar in South America, or a bear, or a bobcat, or a mountain lion, or a coyote, or something like that, this certainly wouldn't be a bad thing to have if you ran out of ammo. Puma's over there pitching fit. Anyway, That's the Condor Knifing Tools Penabris. Thanks again to the folks at Condor for sending me this. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident. Kuma. So be prepared. I'll see you next time.